What's up, everybody? We are live here at the Business Temple podcast. Welcome to the set. This is your co host, Super Alex.
And your co-host Super Ray, ready for the day. I can't wait to get this started, brother. It is Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Thank you all for joining us at the Business Temple.
Woo! Oh, we were not going to do a wolf howl? I didn't get that.
Oh,
How y'all doing, man? I mean, for a lot of people, we've got a long weekend ahead because of the 4th of July. It's going to be a good time for everybody. But of course, holiday or not, we got to make sure that we kick off the usual hype that we give you every single Saturday here at TBT. Oh my gosh, man. I'm specifically excited for this particular episode. But before we get into the juicy deets, make sure y'all subscribe. Get on YouTube, get on Facebook, get on Instagram. We are all in that platform at the Business Temple. And we're consistent with this. I mean, Ray and I have been doing this. Well, are we on a year and a half now, brother?
oh yeah, I've lost count. We have so many episodes. We have done this consistently for so long, and we haven't taken any breaks really. And you know
Nope.
what? Sleep is for the weak, like we say.
That's right.
We're
That's
here
right.
to just enlighten, teach people, and help people become better business owners, better entrepreneurs, better people in general. And it starts by calling out the bullshit, and that's what we're going to be doing
Ooh.
today.
Yeah,
Let's.
I don't think this episode is about enlightenment. We're about to call out some real shit, and the inspiration for this episode actually came from our previous episode last week, where Ray was talking about the self-help industry needs an update, and I was like, "Whoa, light bulb moment!" And you know what? Let's talk about that update. And specifically, we're going to get into the coaching industry, and we're going to talk about the dark side of that industry, expose some of the scams, expose some of the bullshit, and of course, help you identify what those scams are or what other disturbing factors are in the coaching industry and help you avoid that as well. So, there's going to be a lot of insight in this episode. And yeah, are we ready to take them there?
Absolutely, brother. Let's go. I'm so ready to just discuss this topic, something that needs to be said, especially when it comes to this particular industry, the coaching industry. Uh, like, I'm a proud member of the industry. I would say this: I do
Same.
associate myself as a coach when it comes to being a coach of public speaking. But one thing about me is I'm very specific with what I talk about and what I do, because this is a skill set that I'm very well versed in and familiarize myself with. I gotten myself courses, training, and everything, and I've taken the proper steps to do this. And I feel that when it comes to coaching and coaching in general, it's become more of a wild west of an industry, because of a lot of people see the green and they chase after it. Wherever there's money, the fishes will follow. And you need to understand that it's unregulated industry that's only managed by a couple of places that are also unregulated, and the requirements are just like the bar for to become a professional coach or life coach is very low. The bar to become a licensed physician, a licensed therapist is very high. You need about 8 years of
At least.
education after college so you could become a licensed therapist. But a lot of people put themselves in that position where they blur the lines between what it is to get professional help versus what it is to gain a coach. And that's where I have the issues. That's where I have the issues. I don't mind coaches that are very upfront with their services, because I'm very upfront with my services. I tell it how it is. I tell them exactly who I am, what I offer, and I lay it all on the table without any gotcha moments. And another thing
Gotcha
is,
moments.
I, I could get into this all
I
day.
got you. I'm I'm just now hearing that term. That's a good one.
I, I don't know. I could get into this in such a broad depth. And one thing I do want to ask is like, if you ever sought professional help, I mean, I had to seek professional help at a certain point in my life. They, what you'll notice is that they're not salespeople. They're not here to tell you, look, I need you here coming a minimum of 3 months. I need to pay you up. I need you to pay me up front for this particular service because I need you to guarantee that you're going to be coming back. No, it shouldn't work that way. It should be more like, hey, come week to week. This is a suggested time frame, and then you pay once you apply to the service. It isn't like you're contractually obligated. I need to put this grass because it takes this amount of time for anyone to see change. This is where I also like with the pricing models, I get a little bit like, okay, that needs an update. The way that coaches price their services needs a genuine update. More and more people like to see the prices of what they're paying for services up front. They don't like the BS that comes with, oh, well, if you get this, and that, I'm going to provide you this. I'm going to throw this is free, blah, blah, blah. It's too much. We're moving to a place where the internet exists. The internet is out there. You can really find much of what you need online. All the services, everything is pretty generically available. And the value that a coach brings to a person should be more about that, yes, self-empowerment, self-improvement, and actually bringing something to the table that's tangible for the person so they can measure that along the way and then lead them to a place where the other person on the other side can say, hey, this truly helped me and make another person's life better. Yeah.
You know, another pet peeve that I have, building off what you just said with pricing and all, it's how they use the urgency card. Like, hey, if you sign up within 24 hours, you get a 40% discount on this and that. And I'm like, that's a pet peeve to me because coaching is such a mental leap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I also understand that coaching is a business, but then again, if you market it that way and if those discounts and offers that way, I don't think that's particularly ethical because once again, coaching is such a powerful decision that you have to make on your own, and you have to be accountable for that decision. And just because, hey, you want to get a discount doesn't mean that you're ready to receive that coaching. Are you ready to receive that discount, or are you ready to receive the coaching? I mean, I think that's a good question to ask yourself too, if you're willing to be coached. And it's just, to me, I like a lot of people or a lot of coaches out there will be like, hey, you know what, I'm after your money, not after helping you. I'm more after whatever's in your wallet, not really helping you out. Because real coaches out there, they'd understand that coaching is it's something that you have to commit to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long-term commitment. It's not just something that you fuck around with.
And I'd rather a coach be upfront with me. Tell me that you just want money. I mean, some of them are like that, to be perfectly clear. And people still buy into that. It's called the new MLM. I call that the multi-level marketing scheme, where coaches train coaches. That industry is the worst. It's like, I'm coaching you and teaching you how to be a coach so you can teach other people how to be coaches and charge them a markup the same way I'm swindling you. So they're very upfront and like try to teach them exactly what to do to bring in other people and swindle even more people. So that type of industry, I mean, I can go in days. I mean, that's but let's get this thing started. We have an agenda. We kind of have a rubric of how we want to lay things out. We have questions and everything.
Oh, we've been starting, bro. You've been on topic, man. These are important things to help people realize, because I think if, particularly me, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I started out as an entrepreneur, going 8 years ago now, I was a sponge. The reason why is because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had no business background, no training, no coaching, no learning and development background. I worked at a bank. I was a collector for a bank, and me wanting to move into coaching space without having that knowledge, it's real easy for you to I'm just going to use Ray's word, to get swindled. Basically, because you're so willing to learn. And my advice there is you got to realize that not every coach is good for you. Not all pieces of wisdom, golden nuggets, you will be able to use. And that's just the hard truth about it. It's important to be able to detect and identify what kind of coach is good for you. And I know a lot of people out there who are just starting out will say, I don't know what kind of coach works for me. I don't know, what kind of relationship I would have with a coach, because in the first place, I've never ever been coached, and I think if you keep in mind that it's up to you to filter your coaches, then you will learn from trial and error a lot better than just, taking everything in. Because I've had to deal with I've dealt with a lot of coach. I've coached and I have been coached. And I had to deal with some coaches who were really, really good, whom I still talk with now. I'm great friends with now. And then there are those coaches who are uh not so good and didn't really get the type of value that I needed. And that's when I began to really filter. This is what I need in a coach. This is the type of expectations that I have for a coach. This is the type of time frame that I could work with a coach. So a lot of preparation going into the program before you actually commit to it, especially when they start throwing you like numbers like discounts and all that stuff. Don't even mind that. Okay, mind you, and what you can and how you can better prepare for that coaching program. Now I know there are usually obviously there's always money involved, but like what Ray said earlier, is talking with coaches who are upfront about their services, about how much you could be investing in that program. Those are great. Okay, upfront services and pricing. But then what you really got to be careful of are, so I've been to a number of trainings, a number of under a number of worldwide renowned coaches. I would say Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, and all that. I tried all of that stuff just to see what it was like. And the way they model their entire coaching platform, I would say coaching business, like I mentioned earlier, has a lot more to do with business than of helping you. So that's something that people really got to take into consideration. Because once
Yeah.
again, just because this person is a worldwide renowned coach doesn't mean that you will doesn't mean that you will get the value. Doesn't mean that person is the right coach for you. It's very, very important to realize that part. Like, for example, hey man, just because I'm gonna get an opportunity to be
Yeah,
coached by Tony Robbins doesn't mean that he's the right coach for me. So just gotta be
agree.
careful about
Yeah,
those things,
Alex,
guys. Mm-hmm.
something I didn't even have in my notes that you mentioned was about that, like shopping around for coaches in a sense. They don't necessity to, and that's a sense that I also look and to say, if you are looking for a coach, don't look for a coach that tells you that you have to make that decision now, and don't let them
Yes.
bringing you into that web of lies
Thank
that
you.
says, oh, if you don't make the decision today, then this is a fleeting opportunity, this is gonna go away, you need to tell me that I promise you he's saying the same pitch, so like the same way a guy hits on a girl, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You need to like
Mm-hmm.
look beyond that, look past that. Yes, it's flattering. Yes, you would are is enticing. Am I to say that I'm immune to some of those tactics? Absolutely not. I sometimes I am enticed with a few tactics that happen, and the reason this happens is because it plays into our insecurities. It plays into that criminal mindset that we have, that, oh, if we don't act now, this is a fleeting opportunity. And it's it's just crazy to me. But I do like the point that you said, and I didn't even have this in my notes, but you're right. Like, just understand what is the specific need that you have, whether it be you need a coach for like public speaking, you need an acting coach, you need a coach for working out, like a gym coach, because you're not going to hire a life coach to be a better to go to the gym. No, you want a personal trainer or someone that can coach
Right.
you in that
Good
field.
point.
And then yeah, look for a specific, like think of the specific need in your life and then find a coach. And I like that idea too, because not every coach is made for that particular issue that you have. You can have different coaches in your life that for those specific things make you a better holistic person. And when it comes to coaching, I mean, you have a lot of experience because you've dealt with you've worked in the coaching industry for a long time. You also attended a lot of these coaching. I refuse to attend some of these major coaching seminars and all these. I've been to seminars, don't get me wrong, but the free ones, not the ones that you pay a ton of money. But I have friends that have been to them, and I have there's mixed feelings about it, because a lot of them do say, like for example, the Tony Robbins one, that they actually got something out of it. Like like Tony Robbins actually spoke to, like if he was speaking to them in a way, and I feel like it's part of the manipulation tactic in a way. This is how cult leaders, and
I was about to say that.
like this is cult leaders are cult leaders because of their charisma. And when you think about when you go to a concert, for example, and you see someone singing, you connect with them, you're connecting with everybody there, and you want to feel a sense of belonging. So your mind right away defaults to like, I want to feel the sense of belonging, so I'm gonna vibe with him. I'm gonna find the pieces that connect with me the most, and then make that my truth.
I love that you pointed at excuse me. I love that you pointed that out with like coaching platforms, especially big coaching platforms that can feel like it is that it's a cult. It's probably because it is. The moment you get that gut feeling that, okay, should I be jumping around and waving my hands like everybody else, or should I be doing the kumbaya like everybody else? It's very, very important for you to be able to detect these signs right away, because these are very subtle ways that a coach, big time coach, will subtly kind of influence you. You know what I mean? And so I remember I was watching this Netflix on Tony Robbins called "I Am Not Your Guru." Are you familiar with that, Ray?
No, I haven't seen that.
So it's about long story short, it's about Tony Robbins letting people know what the coaching industry really is, and kind of like the behind the scenes of how he runs his world renowned major events. And I was really interested to see that, and what I did pick up from it are some of the things that should not be happening. So, for example, one of the issues there, or one thing that Tony Robbins likes to do, is that he likes to go into the crowd and just do freaking miracles on the spot, like coaching on the spot. And so he was talking to this woman who had childhood trauma. She was sexually abused as a child. And then Tony Robbins was like towards the end of the show, when they were showcasing what the testimonials are and what Tony Robbins' advice was to help these people. His advice to this woman, this abused woman, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna pair you with two men from this crowd, and then they're going to be your guide. They're going to be your mentors, and they will help you recover and heal from your trauma." And this just gave me major cognitive dissonance, because this woman was sexually abused by men when she was young. And for Tony to pair her with two men at that to help her recovery absolutely did not make sense to me. Now, what I'm saying is, be careful not to put your coach on a pedestal, because the moment you do that, then you are susceptible to whatever influence this coach will want to put a grip on you on.
Yeah.
So you can't put your coach on a pedestal. First of all, the moment you put them on a pedestal, the only way they can go is down. So just be careful not to put them in such high regard where everything that comes out of their mouth is gold.
Take it as
absolutely
true.
not. It is
That's true.
absolutely not.
Take it with a grain of salt and just a little bit of skepticism. And just because the person, let's say, has money and influence or power or social media following, doesn't mean that person necessarily is a person that is the right coach for you. I think that sometimes what you want out of a coach is someone that is at least, this is, I've said this before, look for someone that's at least 3 or 4 years in the direction that you want to get to, because most of the time these people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. Having a coach like Tony Robbins, if you want to achieve that level of success, Tony Robbins has been in the industry for like what, 30 something years, 40 years.
Something
And
like that.
if, let's say, for example, out of the blue, you get a coach like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is your life coach. I'm here. I'm Tony Robbins. I'm fucking like coaching you right now. The things that I'm going to be telling you aren't necessarily great for you. I'm just going to tell you this flat out, because what I would be spewing and how would I be trying to help you is the vision that one day you can become just like me, or one day you can be, or you can think like me, or be me in that sense. Because that's kind of like what Tony Robbins sells. Be like me. That's my selling point. That's his entire pitch. And I know this for a fact because I've attended a few of the UPC sales seminars where they say the same thing. You want to be like Tony Robbins. You want to be this. I'm going to sell you on your insecurities, because guess what? You're a piece of shit and you need to become like Tony Robbins, because Tony Robbins isn't a piece of shit. And you want to be this grandiose person that speaks to the crowd of thousands of people. And you should strive to be that. And if you're not striving to be that, you're thinking too small. You're not thinking big enough. You need to think that, hey, I can take over the world, blah, 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 blah. And I hear this bullshit and I'm like, what the fuck? Your everyday person wants to be able to speak better in a meeting, wants to be able to command a room, wants to have that confidence when it comes to, like, I don't know, whatever their industry is, or even picking up women or whatever. It's that everyday person. That's what they want. What's unfortunate is that a lot of these coaches, they feed on that. I mean,
yeah,
it's just sad. And you can find a coach essentially anywhere, and it doesn't have to be a major person. It doesn't have to be and honestly, most of the time, these major people, they don't do the coaching themselves. They hire they hire other people to do their coaching, and then those other people that do coaching, they hire other people to do coaching, and then there's a web of little pyramid.
Yeah.
The pyramid scheme. It all falls back to that, and these are all techniques and that have been discovered and been done for years. This is nothing new. Nothing that coaches would ever teach you is new. All of this is just a spin-off, a regurgitation of the same things in a way that is suited more to you. And a good coach will find a way to personalize it. I would say that, because not everything works, and a good coach kind of funnels their experience and their knowledge base to personalize it. And a good coach would make sure that you only get the most valuable information that you need without having to scour the internet for it, because I feel like that's an invaluable skill. A person that can just kind of make sense out of something that's very complex.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what a coach should be doing. And I don't know, the approach when it comes to, because I'm taking it from an approach for, like, of course I've coached people, and then I recently have a coach now. I've been looking for a coach for the longest time, and I'm not even paying for my coach. A mentor of mine, and I don't have to pay for it. There's free coaches, free services as well. And if that is for you, go for it. Some people do need that monetary gain, because I feel like I'm that type of person too sometimes, to keep me accountable. The reason why I pay so much for a gym membership isn't because I like the gym has different equipment that other gyms have. No, it's because I know if I'm paying this much money, I need to hold myself accountable. Right. Now there's a monetary value to it. It's another tactic that a lot of coaches do use too, that if you're paying me $500 an hour, then you're
going to listen.
You're going to listen. You're going to make every single second count, every minute count. and now you're more attentive. The information that you're receiving is a lot more. You're gonna retain it a lot more, because look, if you watch a YouTube video, a free YouTube video, you probably watch educational YouTube video all the time. I watch educational videos all the time. How many times have you found yourself just writing down some of the information that that video is telling you?
A lot.
Well, it's different. It's us, but like your average person
Yeah.
is just watching a video and not retaining the information. They're just
Mhm.
listening to it, and they like the information, but they're not retaining it or writing things down as they're watching it. I do it too. I write things down and try to really retain information. But your average person isn't really doing that. But if they're paying you, if you're paying someone to do it, you're taking now some copious notes, making sure you
Yep.
retain every single information,
Pay attention
and
differently.
paying attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us as well to talk about what is a good coach then.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We'd explain a lot about what a bad coach is and what some parts of the dark side of the coaching industry that I hope y'all are fully acutely aware of now and know how to avoid some of those certain traps, you know. But so what is a good coach now? What kind of coach should you be looking for? And I think I want to start with, as I mentioned earlier, first determine what you think your needs are. You know, you don't have to pinpoint exactly what, you know, if this is 100% right or not. Just like have an idea of what you need. If you're not entirely sure, put as much information down. Have an idea of what schedule works with you. Have an idea of the type of coach you want to work with. You know, do you want to work with another gentleman, another woman, or so on and so forth? You know, determine exactly as well where you feel like you need coaching on. A lot of people will say, "Hey, I need life coaching," but that's such a broad, you know what I mean? It's such a broad topic to be coached on. It's life. You know, exactly what about life then? And what do you want to achieve from there? You know, I think that's the important first step in before you even shop for a coach. You work with what's in your sphere of influence or what's in your control. The more you jot down what you know or what you feel like is right for you, the better chances that you will hit a coach that will, you know, meet those needs, those specific needs that you have. So discover yourself first. I feel like, you know, before you even have a coach help you with self-discovery, you gotta bring someone to the table too.
Yeah.
You
Is there
know?
like a questionnaire we can link to or something? Like, we'll add that in there because I feel like, or we'll create one so people can fill
Yeah,
out and answer some of those questions, and then you can figure
yeah,
out
you're
what
right.
type of coach that you're looking for, because there's a multitude of different coaches. There's so many, and find one that works for you. Finding one that works for you is the first step, like you said, Alex, before you start getting into the reaching out to people or asking, hey, can I inquire about your services? I think that's really, really, it would be really helpful. Mm,
Yeah, and then next for me would be, where exactly would you go about looking for coaches?
mm.
So a lot of people would say LinkedIn. A lot of people would hopefully not a lot of people would say Instagram.
They will. You know how many people would say Instagram more
Oh
than
man.
LinkedIn? Because when you think about it, who are the people that are searching for answers the most? You have your younger demographic, the Gen Zers, the
Hmm.
Gen Xers, and the millennials. Not much. Baby boomers don't want to change. They don't need coaches because they they
Set
have
in their ways.
yeah, they're just set in their ways. But for the younger folks that are utilizing Instagram, TikTok, and then reaching out to people, I would say don't fall into the trap. Don't look at someone with flashing money, flashing cars, and say that's the person I want to be. That's that interests me. Don't just jump into that bandwagon and say, "Oh, well, this is what I want in my life. I want the cars, I want the money, I want the hose," and I like look. It just doesn't come with the territory. The reason why he has all those things, or the person that you're trying to reach out to teach you has all those things, is because dumbasses like you click on it and
Mhm.
pay into these services that make enrich his life. And this is what I understand. And this cycle continues. And this isn't new information. You know, this person's going to get rich off of you if you give them money. And this person is going to tell you, oh, you can do the same thing I did and become rich. And how is that going to work? They don't give you a model of exactly how to do that. You need money to make money in essence. And most people that come into these businesses and come in to get help, they don't have this kind of money. They scour what they can. They sell their property in order to pay for these expensive courses. And in the end, find out that it's all a scam. It really doesn't help. Like, oh, and the best part is, if it's not working, the coaches blame the people that it's not working. It's not the program. It is you. It is you that's not making it work, because there's so many testimonials of all these people that made it work. Meanwhile, those testimonials are coming from their inside close group of circled friends.
Yep.
Who kind of all brought up the scam together. And that's that. It's like, oh, look at all these people I've coached already, and they become this so-and-so. The program works. It's you that doesn't work.
That definitely is a major call out. That is a major call. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. You know, and it's funny how you say Instagram, but I guess that's true. You know, I would say the stark difference of searching for a coach on Instagram and on LinkedIn is, number one, it's just the way that people post on Instagram as well. You know, LinkedIn is a highly professional platform. Not only that, but you get to see their entire resume on LinkedIn once you visit their LinkedIn profile, you know. But if you want to narrow it down some more, I would say check out, for beginners, at least check out ICF, or International Coach Federation. Especially if you don't have an idea about what coaching is in general. A lot of people get coaching and therapy confused. A lot of people get coaching and mentorship confused, coaching and training confused. You know, there's so many fucking semantics and nuances to the terms, and it can get confusing at times. And, you know, going to the International Coach Federation website will help determine exactly, you know, what you need. And not only that, but will help you get familiarized with the terms. And they have a number of coaches there that you could select from. Now, I'm not saying all good coaches are members of the ICF. That's not true. It's just that something I would recommend to someone just starting out, like, hey, I'm trying to get into the coaching industry, or I'm trying to be coached by somebody that works for me. Head over to the International Coach Federation, check that out, and I guarantee you'll be able to pinpoint the right coach for you easily, especially once you have your needs jotted down. And then I would say that
requirements to be an ICF coach.
It takes a number of hours. I know they have, like, so not only do you have to invest in to be a member of the ICF, but then you also need practical hours. I think it was anywhere between 300 to 500 hours, depending on your subject matter expertise, for you to actually be considered to become a legitimate member of the ICF. You would need to you would need to have 300 to 500 hours of coaching experience. Then you would be eligible to be an ICF member.
So this is where I get confused. So if you want to be an accredited coach, you already have to be a coach. So this is why I always got confused. It's like, if you want to be a coach, it's like if you want to be a doctor, you go to school, you become a doctor, and by going through the courses, going through the trainings, and then they offer you the degree and everything, and then you become a doctor. But this is what I don't get about fucking coaching. I'm sorry. This is what pisses me off. And
give it
my grievances with the ICF, and then also the Public Speaking Association, the major one too, that in order for you to be an accredited speaker or an accredited coach, you already have to have clients. You already have to have experience, and you need to be making at least $50,000 speaking in order to be an accredited speaker, which is
$50,000. I didn't know that.
On just speaking engagements a year, and you have to have that document sent out, and then have that reviewed within the board to be an accredited speaker by I forget the name of it. But the ICF requires you. This is why I asked, like, what are the requirements? They require you to be a coach before you can train to be a coach. That's my grievance with it.
That does make sense. That reminds me of, it's like a person who just graduated from university, and then
Yeah.
the company they're applying to is
Like, oh, you need experience of being an intern.
Yeah. That's kind of like what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, and then when you're trying to like get to this level, then okay, then what? Like, what the hell? See, I'm pulling it up right now. The National Speaker Association offers certified speaker program for the top professional speakers. They have a rigorous application progress that requires applicants to document 250 paid presentations and earnings of 50,000 from speaking engagements in a year, and it's a $375 application fee.
I've never heard of a requirement where you need to be making a certain amount of money from your speaking engagement. I've never heard that requirement ever.
Yep.
That's that's interesting, but I valid point, brother. I haven't thought about it that way, and I take it back. Then definitely that is not a beginner friendly thing to be looking at, especially if you are trying to get into the coaching industry. Then
Yeah,
it wouldn't make sense.
this is why it's I call it the Wild West when it comes to this whole industry. There is no real regulation to it. There's because the thing is, we haven't really figured it out yet. That's what it's a booming industry. Don't get me wrong. Look, I just pulled up the numbers. Like, coaching is a $3 billion global industry, and it's only been going up. It's gone up between 2015 and 2019 by 33%, and right now there's 23,000 certified coaches via the ICF. So those are the ones that are registered and certified. But when you think about how many life coaches are out there, there's well over 20.
Oh yeah, well over. Not all coaches are certified, and some would argue that they don't need to be, especially like who is ICF to say that I need, you're my prerequisite to be a great coach. To some people would definitely agree. Most people won't.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned earlier, just because not all good coaches will be an ICF member, or whatever NSA member. Not all good public speakers will be an NSA member, and I think what's really important is getting to know what your needs are. And then on the flip side, I know working with a good coach, from my experience, is when they attempt to determine what your needs are too. So it's kind of like a needs analysis, or what I'm trying to remember the term. I think coaches call it discovery calls.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
if you're familiar with
discovery
calls, they'd be like, hey, just to understand if
Mm-hmm.
you are a fit for the program, and if you think the coach is a fit for you.
Yeah, I mean, I do those. I do discovery calls. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I feel like that they're very necessary when it comes to trying to figure out if you're the right coach for them, because I guess as a good coach, and you as a good coach should understand whether you can help this person or not. And if you can't help this person, it's good to build a network of coaches too, that that you can just refer to and say, hey, I have a friend that he specializes in this. He's really good at this particular segment of trying to help you, or she is really good at that. I don't want to put sexes on it, but like these are the people that I recommend, and when it's time to just let go, because sometimes it can't just be all about the money. I feel like good coaches have a conscience. They really genuinely try to help people. The money is a requirement, is necessary, because hey, your time is worth that.
And at the end of the day, coaching is still a business.
It's
right? It's still a profession. It's just how ethical you are when navigating that business. You know, there is a right way of doing business. You don't have to be an asshole or a scammer all the fucking time. You know what I mean? There is an actually good right business practices, and I think it's important for us to call out the business practices now in the coaching industry, like what we're doing in this episode. I don't think a lot of people are aware. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it enough for fear of, I don't know, blowback or whatever social
ostracization. Like I don't.
You
We're a
know?
small channel, anyways. If they watch this and we let them watch it, my feelings don't change.
Exactly. I mean, whether we're a big channel or a small channel, you know, it's this is just something that needs to be said.
Yeah.
And what better place to say it than the business temple, right?
Yeah. Well, let's hope that the people that do watch this and have an understanding that we're not against coaching, we're not anti-coaching, we're anti-bullshit coaching.
Anti-scamming motherfuckers coaching.
Yes.
You know, it's just important to call this out. You know, because like what Ray said last week, the self-help industry, the coaching industry, it needs a desperate update.
Yeah.
You know, and before you even attempt an update, you gotta know what the issues are first, and these issues have to surface.
Yeah.
And that's just the important thing about it, you know. And I really
we can do a part 2 on this one. We've got 40 minutes, but we'll do a part 2 on this one because I do want to get into and talk more about like race when it comes to coaching and how it does play a big part of like who your coaches are, because you gave a perfect example about when Tony Robbins called up 2 men to help a rape victim, a person with trauma, that it just doesn't make sense. Like, and with the same thing when it comes to race and religion, or you want someone that understands you too. If let's say I'm coaching a Muslim person and I don't understand the Muslim religion, you wouldn't want to hire that coach because they don't understand you at that level. It doesn't mean I have to be Muslim, but I can, if I at least know the practices or what the Quran says, or what those teachings are, I can better relate to you. And this is what
that's right,
where experience comes from. And this is why you do want an experienced coach, because it's sometimes it just may not match. You just want to find someone that you match with. And even if it's not a perfect fit, at least this is an understanding between one another. Because I'm not saying that men can't coach women and women can't coach men. Like, hell, my coach is a woman and she's freaking awesome. And like it doesn't mean just because of that. It's just finding the right balance. I mean,
I agree. I agree. You know, this could be the first TBT limited series or short series. I know we've never ever done a topic twice before, but there's just so much to talk about with this topic, and I think there's so much significance and importance and urgency in this topic as well. So who knows? Super Ray and Super Alex might just consider this a very short series, maybe a 2 or 3 episode series to see what we're talking about exactly, and to give more important points, you know. So thanks for joining us, yo. Make sure to subscribe over at the Business Temple. Stay consistent with us. We are here every single Saturday, 9 a.m. PT, 12 p.m. ET, talking to you about the union of ancient philosophy and modern business, and calling out the bullshit in between.
That's right. Super Alex, happy to be here today. Happy to be with all of you today. Have a great weekend. Like Alex said, make sure to subscribe for more. We'll be here every single week, consistently, Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. See you next week. Happy 4th of July, baby. Let the fireworks.